Hi, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to the Golden Girls Coffee Klatch. I'm Blanche, and I have my lovely sisters with me, Sophia and Dorothy. And what's the other one's name?
Rose.
Rose
Rose.
is
But
still
yeah,
is still missing somewhere in. I think she's in El Salvador now, so we may never
yeah,
see her again. Who knows?
yeah, exactly. We're doing our best. We're
Let's
trying
see.
to share information. So yeah.
She didn't get deported, did she?
Well, I don't
Yeah,
given
I
her
don't know if she got
history, I mean,
deported, but
Saint Olaf, come on now. You know. So could be.
exactly. And for those of you that are keeping up, the kittens will be 2 weeks old tomorrow. Their eyes are now open, not like fully open, but they're looking
Yes.
around and they're starting to mew at every little thing. Oh my God, they're so adorable. It drives me crazy and moving around and stuff. So they're starting to get the edge on it's time to shuffle around. So they still spend about 90% of their time sleeping and or eating or
Yes.
both at the same time. You'll see them nursing and then you'll see their heads kind of drop and then they'll
Yeah.
like wake themselves up and start nursing again and then they drop and it's like, and you look at mommy and she's like, okay, guys, come on, make up your mind.
Yeah.
What you gonna do here, and
Yeah.
so and I've had a lot of people message me, can I have this one? Can I have that one? It's like it's another 7 or 8 weeks before they're even can think about giving them away to another home. And you'd have to be able to drive down here to come and get them. So, I would have no way of getting them to you. And but yeah, if you're willing to come and get them, you can have one in
You
about eight
can't you
weeks.
can't
So
ship them through UPS or something?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, just put a seal on it, a little box, throw in some air holes. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Norm. Norm says they're gorgeous. Yes,
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Yes, they are. The white
Yes.
one is powder. And we can thank Maureen D'Amico. She's the one that named them. The white one is powder. The gray one is stormy. The calico one is patches, and the striped one is Tigger.
Oh,
And
Oh,
so the names really seem to fit them perfectly.
uh-huh. Perfect.
And so anyway, so we got lots of good stuff we can talk about tonight. But first, let's kind of just touch base with everybody. We see Marina's back up and running. She's on her computer. And so
Yes.
yay.
Yeah.
So what you got cooking for this weekend? Since
Um,
we're almost there.
since we're almost there, well, tomorrow I'll be on with um, Colleen on the Cool Crone readings. Um, so that is at I think 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then on Monday, I'll be on Allie's channel for Letting Spirit Drive. I don't have too much happening this weekend. I do have some. us- Usually, I like to do readings on the weekend, like personal readings. So I try to, block
Yep.
off time where I can do that. So I do have some readings lined up for the weekend, but I'm just glad to be back. I'm just,
And we missed you.
yeah.
We
thank
really
you.
did.
And I missed everybody because yeah, it just I felt so disconnected, so outside of everything, and yeah, very glad to be back.
We are glad to have you. So Cleo,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
also known as Dorothy, what's up for your weekend? What you got hopping?
Not a lot on the weekend, but Friday tomorrow I've got the same thing as Marina. It's the Cool Crone Oracle 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, and whatever Marina said about Mountain. Is that what that is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then on Monday, I've got the Mystic Four, and we're just doing that once a month, and that's personal readings. And so I hope anybody that's up for personal readings will come to that. That's again at 4 o'clock specific, and or not specific. We'll just call it Pacific.
Pacific.
And 7 o'clock Eastern. And since we only do it once a month, I hope everybody will show up for that, because especially if they want a personal reading. And we just have such a good connection there that I just really enjoy doing that show. But I like getting away from politics for a few minutes. So there you go. But I love the Golden Girls too. So I'm ready to do politics today.
Well, and I'm starving to death. I ate a jelly sandwich just before we came on because I hadn't eaten all day long because I was on a water only diet for all the testing I had to do at the doctor's office today. And then I go back in a month for more testing and a CAT scan, and I don't know what all they're going to do.
Wow.
Then they keep finding trace amounts of blood in my urine. And they don't know why, because I don't have any of the other symptoms of why it would be there. And I've not had a bladder infection in probably 40 years. I mean, not since I was in my 20s. And so my regular doctor is just like, yeah, let's just run some tests to make sure that everything's working right, because that's a clue that something's off. So that's what we're doing. So I met the urologist today. I can't pronounce his name again. He told me like 3 times. It's I think it's German, if I'm not mistaken. It looks German, but I tried to say it a couple of times and he just laughed. He says nobody can say it now. Like, okay.
I'll just call you.
I just call him Dr. Scott. That's his first name. And but he's nice. We're actually the same age, which was trippy. And he's like, well, actually, he says, I think you got me beat by 2 weeks or something.
Nice.
I was like, oh wow, that's cool. And so and it was, once I got in there, it was over and done with in no time. It was all the prep crap I had to go through for 2 days. And so we'll see what we see and go from there. And then tomorrow night, Friday night, I'm doing backstage for Arthur. He's doing a members thing Friday night. And then Saturday, I'm doing my monthly recorded readings with Nath. We usually pick a topic and do a deep dive on it. And then there's a members meeting on Allie's channel Saturday afternoon. And there's something else I'm supposed to be doing on Saturday.
The night party.
The slumber party, yes, slumber party. At 10 o'clock. And then not this Saturday, but next Saturday is the Saturday that Ramon Moonscarab will be on with me every 3rd Saturday of the month. Plus Allie's going to join us. So it'll be 3 of us having a ball. And then Sunday is Mastering Mental Wellness, personal readings, and another backstage for Arthur. So
in other words, Sherry is just booked.
I'm booked right now, I'm telling you. And Monday is Draining the Swamp, the next episode of Draining the Swamp with me and Mel and Arthur.
Lovely.
And so that's it for me for now. I don't want to think about it anymore. And we did have, okay, I started to call out names. Y'all know who you are, and there's too many of you. We've already got 87 people in the room. I'm not calling
Oh
out
my
all your
gosh.
names.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you for
but
joining us. Thank
hi.
you for being here. Yeah.
Hi to everybody. Hello to the members. Thank you so
Yes.
much for your support. Y'all really keep me going, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. If y'all see anything that maybe I didn't catch, say the word.
No, that's the
Okay,
same thing I was
let's see.
looking at.
And I don't know if I'm the busiest woman on YouTube. I don't feel like I'm busy. Maybe that's my
You're
problem.
busy. Oh, you're busy.
I don't feel busy.
Well,
So, and
that's
we do have a few questions that we had. I guess, what was it we decided to start on? Tariffs? Is
Well,
that it?
let's just go with the questions. Like the first question there is,
All right.
yeah,
We can do that.
yeah. and
Brenna
living a-
41. I live in a red state and want to know if MAGA supporters are beginning to change their minds about Felon 45. Oh, yes.
Yes. The answer
Most
to the question is
definitely.
yes.
Mhm.
Hence why he's negative 29 now.
Yes.
Exactly. Negative
Yes.
9. That is so bad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the things he's doing with the tariffs is upsetting everybody, and it's, a lot of people have lost a lot of money, and a lot of the Republicans, the political guys, the guys in the House and the Senate are going, you know what, something just doesn't feel right here.
Yes.
And so we can get more into that. We've got another question that we'll get into that but yes, the Republicans are thinking, they're not so sure they want Trump to take over the country and demolish democracy and become a dictator. Well, he's already in that mode.
Already a dictator.
So,
Mhm.
he's dangerous. He's so dangerous because he is destroying the economy. He's destroying the country. But he knows that there's no way to stop him. And was it Cory Booker that said something about, or maybe it was somebody else that was talking about nobody's doing anything about it. We see all these things happening, but nobody's really doing anything. People are starting, the protesting across the country.
Yes.
That makes a difference. And I think that the people in Congress and
Yes.
people in the Senate are thinking more along the lines of what can we do, and let's start doing it because.
And,
Go ahead.
I did see a headline earlier. I didn't have a chance to read the article, but I did see the headline. And I don't know what state it was in, but one of the Republicans was holding like a outdoor rally or something. And his constituents were so angry that they literally took the stage and the police had to shut down the rally.
I did not see that, but I'm not surprised.
And
I
I'm
see
like,
more
oh,
people
my.
Yeah, they're doing those kind of rallies, and the people are booing and quit lying to us. And even some of the Democrats that weren't at a rally, but they had said, yes, you're being lied to, and it's time
Yes.
somebody says something about it. I'm thinking, yeah, well, why didn't you start about 10 years ago? They're
Yeah.
constantly being lied to. But this thing with the tariffs, and then all of a sudden, oh, psych, surprise, I'm not going to
Yes.
do it. I'm going to wait 90 days.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of, years back when kids misbehaved and mom would say, wait till your father gets home. And the kids laugh, knowing full well that by the time dad gets home, mom will have forgotten all about it. So it's like, yeah, this is a game that he's playing. I think he's fiddling around with the market. And that's why he's doing it.
And like I was saying backstage, we've already got senators and representatives calling for a massive investigation of their own houses
Yes.
of who made money off of this.
Yes.
Which
Exactly.
senators and which representatives made money off of this, because
Yes.
this just reeks of insider trading.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's blatant. It's in your face, insider training.
Yes.
Excuse me, insider
Yes.
trading, not training. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to grasp the English language. I'm sorry.
I'm right there with you, Cleo. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have an excuse, Marina. You come from another country. You come from 2 other countries, to be
Two other
specific.
countries. Yes.
Well, I have an excuse too, just not the sharpest tool in the shed, but you know what?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's me. Yeah. It's like sometimes it's like, hello, anybody home?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are, I mean, and you're getting people, wealthy people, who are now starting to publicly say, wait a minute, I lost a lot of damn money on this, and now suddenly, no, we're not going to do that. Nobody
But when
gave
I
me a
still
phone call and told me to sell short and
Yeah.
buy low, and so
But did some of those people get their money back when he changed his mind and the stock market went through the roof? I'm not sure. I don't know that much about the stock
I,
market.
I don't know. I don't understand the stock market well enough to know how that works exactly, except
But
that
I know that the people that had the inside information that said, here's what I'm going to do, and it'll change
Yes.
everything, that they probably just left their stocks where they were at because the
Well,
stocks
they
go
were.
back
Yeah. They they actually would have started buying more stock.
or
One of the
buying
things that
stock.
yeah, one of the things that you do is when
you
the
buy
market
low, sell
dips,
high.
yeah, buy low, sell high. So him putting the tariffs on really tanked the stock market and NASDAQ and all that kind of stuff. So the value of companies that are trading on the stock market, of course, falls because you were worth, I don't know, $100 yesterday. It fell 25%, so today you're only worth $75, or your shares are only worth that. So that's when the people with the money come in. They normally it's a gamble whether you're going to make a profit or not. But doing what he did, of course, entertainment purposes only, doing what he did by putting in the tariffs in place, he tanks the stock market. Everything goes down. The
Trillions
rich
of dollars
boys,
was lost.
yes,
Yeah.
the rich boys come in, and instead of paying $100 a share, now they're buying at $75 a share, knowing full well, because he's told them, yeah, look, the call sign is it's a good time to buy.
Yeah.
And so everybody buys. And then he says, oh, on the tariffs, I'm going to pause them for 90 days. So it brings the market back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, we bought at 75. It's at 90 now. Sell. We just made $15 or whatever. So
yeah,
it is definitely insider trading. It is market manipulation. And I absolutely agree that, it needs to be investigated. And every single person needs to be, whether you're Republican or Democrat, because let's face it, Democrats love money just as much as the Republicans do.
Oh, and I'm sure there's going to be a few of them that are going to get caught up in this. That
absolutely.
Their bells are going to get rung too. So
it's very illegal. Very illegal.
I don't.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Across
Exactly.
the board, no matter what you're in,
it's
insider trading, period, is illegal.
Listen, Martha Stewart did time for that. Okay.
Oh, is that what that's? I can never remember what she did time for.
Yeah,
but
that's why she went
Yes.
to prison.
Yes, that's right.
But
So-
this is also a typical Trump trick. He's done it forever of creating a situation that causes trouble
Yes.
turning around, changing it, and then looking around like, I fixed it. I fixed it. After
Yeah.
he creates it, he fixes it. So he's doing the same. It's the same MO for him,
Yes.
over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Michelle's
Exactly.
right. That's exactly what they did in
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
They didn't calculate it properly, and they thought it wouldn't happen until Obama came into office, and it happened before the election, which really pushed him getting into office because people were pissed off big
Yes.
time. So yeah, there's going to be, I'm pretty sure, a pretty
I think they're
intense
already starting with
investigation.
an investigation. Because
Yeah.
they're already questioning it, and it sounds like they're already starting. That Schiff guy,
Adam Schiff,
Adam
Cory
Schiff,
Booker. Cory Booker's another one that's looking at it.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren has
Yes.
already made several statements from the Senate floor about it, and has basically come out and started accusing people without calling out names. And
Mhm.
I know Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders
White
said
House. Yes.
something. Yeah. Senator Whitehouse. Yep, that was the other one. So there's a bunch of them who knows enough about that topic that they know when it smells bad, and they're going to do something about it.
And really, you know
Because it
what?
reeks.
I want to see your financial statement from, let's say, I don't know, the 1st of April until the 10th of April. Okay. What was your net worth on the 1st of April? Oh, $2 billion. What's it worth on today's date? Oh, 5 billion. Where'd you make the extra 3?
Yeah.
How did you make the extra 3? Let's see the paperwork on that. And honestly, if
I had a hunch. I had a hunch to buy something. It was just a hunch.
yeah, it was just like plague bingo. I just happened to win more than once. Yeah, sure. I think that once they are identified, once they are named, I think that I'd like to see the Securities Commission come in and say, right, okay, everybody, any money that you made between the 1st and the 10th, we're going to seize it. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to pay off government debt or whatnot. So you're not being penalized, really. We're just
not being put in jail.
allow you. Yeah, we're just not going to allow you to take advantage of that. So,
Sherry has a good question here.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the stock market going away? No. There's good things about it, and how it works and how it moves money around the world. It's not just us. I mean, the stock market may be based here, but it's global. That's a global thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got
Asian markets.
You've got other countries that are pitching a fit over what has happened.
Yeah.
So you're going to get investigations coming from them as well.
Yes.
And
because there's every.
If Trump will face any consequences. It's up here, the top of your questions. Is T going to face any consequences for suggesting his followers buy stocks before he delayed tariffs again? Are any of the people who took the suggestion going to face consequences? Okay, Trump first. He'll, who knows? I think it's a nail in the coffin. I think it's just another thing that they can hold against him and finally remove him from office. However, Trump is the Teflon guy, and he just, the Supreme Court supports every illegal move he does. And this is clearly, I mean, people that don't know anything about the stock market know that this is illegal.
Yeah.
He bragged about the money they all made while cameras were running. It is pointed out that Charles Schwab made billions, he said. Perfect, and he'll probably get away with this. The other people that were in on it, they might well get in trouble. But hopefully they will use this to the benefit of the people of the country. and say, you know what? Yeah, this is way too far out of line. This is not part of your job as president to fill people in about it's time for you to buy your stocks now.
Yeah.
Just like Marina said that what's her name went to prison for it.
Martha Stewart.
Martha.
Yeah. For
Yes.
insider trading.
Yeah,
And don't
like
forget,
Jackie B said, he always incriminates himself publicly and on camera, and
yes,
Still no
nothing seems to
consequences.
happen.
It
Yeah.
must be nice. Well, it must be nice when you got the Supreme Court in your hip pocket. He's got the Supreme Court. It is the most corrupt court we have ever seen, ever. And I mean, as long as that, if he keep, they are working against everybody in favor of him, and that is what
for the moment. Yes, for the moment they are, but don't forget, it's not the U.S. stock market has an effect on every other stock market, like the
Japanese market,
the Japanese, the Naisei, whatever, the European, the South American. You know, there's pockets, and it what happens in with the U.S. it does affect the others. So while you know, he himself may not be always held accountable, not to the U.S., and he may get protection from the Supreme Court. Sooner or later, he's going to want to leave the country, and if he flies anywhere else, any of the other countries can pick him up and say, right, insider trading, market manipulation, and so on. I did pull some cards, and I started off with the death card. I think that they're either going to be able to get him, or something is going to happen to him before they're able to do that. I also got the 3 of Wands. This is your ship coming in. What you put out there is ready to come home to roost. So all the turmoil and things that you have done, all the agreements, the 3 of Pentacles, all the work that you have put into this, it's coming back, and the outcome isn't good. So yeah, we may hope to see it, and if we don't see it, if he was to have an event and all of a sudden, you know, he was to transition to the big McDonald's in the sky, he's still going to go down in history as being a crook. Yeah.
He's guilty of treason all the way around.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
All the way around.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just us that's affected by this. This is affecting markets and people around the world. And
exactly.
They're not happy. So,
no, the Asian markets closed even after he said about the 90-day pause. They closed lower than they were predicted, than they anticipated. China's not happy. Japan isn't happy. Japan holds a lot of U.S. bonds, which means it's like it's like buying a country's loans, put it that way.
Yep.
So, yeah, Japan owns a lot of the loans that the U.S. has taken out. China is next. So if Japan and China got together and said, okay, you know those loans? Yeah, we're calling them in. You've got 24 hours to pay.
That's what I heard.
Or the other thing that they do is the market is depressed and they sell the bonds. And all of a sudden things they go from bad to worse.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Well, I got spreading, mutating.
Yeah.
So it's the corruption on him is just it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads us into The
I'm not
Save
sure.
Act.
Yeah. I'm not
What-
sure if they're calling it in, but they certainly could if they wanted to at any moment. So.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of countries that we owe a lot of money to that
Yeah.
could suddenly say, you know what? Your markers due, pay up.
Yes.
You want to
And if
see
you don't
us?
pay up, we start seizing assets.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've always wanted to live in Mar-a-Lago. I think I'll take that for myself.
there you go. Um,
Yep.
the other big thing that happened today was the House passed the Save Act. Now it still has to go through the Senate. The Senate Democrats have already let it be known it's dead on arrival. Because basically, amongst other things, but one of the main things it does is that if this was to pass to prevent election fraud, it would make it so that only if your current ID says exactly your name as it was printed on your birth certificate. So if at any time in your life you've had your name changed legally, adoption, marriage, anything along those lines, your current ID is going to give your current legal name, which is not what's on your birth certificate. And then they can kick you out. The thing of it is they're not thinking very far ahead for this, because this is going to also affect Republican women.
Yes.
Who are not as apt to keep their own name, but to take their husband's names when they get married.
Yeah.
And you start getting all these Republican women not being able to vote. You think we make a lot of noise?
The logic there is so asinine to say
Yeah.
that you have to go by your birth certificate when obviously the only people that it would affect around, the major people is women. Men
Yes.
aren't getting married and changing their names. Women are. Millions of women all over the world, that's what they're doing. So yeah, this, whatever they did say about that is just stupid, beyond stupid.
It is.
Nobody's
It's targeted. It is absolutely targeted. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's and again, if you were adopted, well, your name on your legal ID is not going to be your birth certificate because you've been adopted. Your name changes legally to another name. When I have to prove I am who I am, I have to have my birth certificate, my adoption papers, and my marriage certificate to show that, yeah, I'm one and the same person, So, and it does a bunch of other things too, and I don't remember all the rest of it, but yeah, women need to big time get in his face about that. And then something that I don't know, y'all may have heard more about this than I did. I just heard it briefly. Somebody else talking about it, so I don't know all the details, but evidently Trump and Cruz showed up with Whitmer, Governor Whitmer from, what is she from? Wisconsin, Michigan. She's the governor that the brown shirts tried to kidnap so they could torture and unalive her back before J6 happened.
Yes.
And evidently he did something that kind of put it like she was supporting him in whatever it was he was doing, and she knew nothing about it. She kind of got called up to come to your office, the president's here, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's going to have some serious repercussions.
Wasn't she also the one that a lot of people wanted her to run for president?
Yeah.
She's really a pretty cool lady. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, did she know? I get the feeling no. She Gretchen, exactly, Gretchen Whitmer. No, they did not tell her what was going to happen, and I think she just kind of found herself in a place where, oh my God, now what do I do? Like, yeah. So I think that look for her to make a statement. Look for her to say something about, yeah, this not I don't agree with this. This isn't something that yeah. King of Pentacles. No, it's another way for him to try to gain control. See, look at all these people that are around me. They all support me. That's why they come here. That's why they watch me sign these documents, because they agree with what I'm doing.
Because
No.
they can't believe I can write my name.
Yes.
They have to witness it.
Yes. Yeah. With a big crayon. Big, huge crayon. See? Yeah.
I got the 3 of Wands. So preparation, they set her up.
Yes.
That's what they did. And then I got mainstream news, and they made sure they did it in front of all the cameras.
Yes.
So that she
because then they can control the narrative, right? She comes out and says, no, I was sidelined. That wasn't my thing. And they go, yeah, she was sidelined. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. He is such an imbecile.
Yeah. On steroids, imbecile.
On steroids. On steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
the next thing was, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say Celtic Seer just said the ignoramus is about to make some serious missteps. When Saturn moves into Aries at the end of May, chickens come home to roost.
Ooh.
Well, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. Hey, Don.
Hi, Jeffro. And he's like, where the hell is Anonymous?
Yeah.
And,
they're
yeah.
They're losing their oomph because, when they come across with the masks and the weirdness and the distorted voice and stuff, I'm like, oh, come on. Come on. I can see trying to maybe cover up your identity because, yes, it is a big deal. You will be threatened. You will be, suddenly end up in jail for no reason or something. I can see that. But the mask is a little bit, it turns people off, I think. It just, you can't take.
I think a lot of people don't know whether to take them seriously or not.
Exactly.
It's like, are you just playing around, or are you seriously trying to give information? The thing I put up just a second ago.
Yes.
Now, SCOTUS has ruled that Mr. Garcia has to be brought back from El Salvador.
Yes. And it was 9-0.
Wow.
9-0.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
The Supreme, you're talking about Supreme Court, right?
Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I think that they realized that if they back Trump on this one, oh yeah, people would be actively looking for them, or at least the ones who wanted to support Trump. Yeah. And believe me, they're all looking after their, back of their shoulder and seeing who's there and who's doing what, because their days are numbered. They know they are. Their days are numbered. And yeah.
And I just keep thinking of this poor man who was kidnapped in front of his 5-year-old son, who was mentally challenged, went to a special school. He was literally snatched in front of his son and taken away.
Wow.
And
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and
Jeffro, I heartily understand what you're saying, but I can't, in all honestly, say yes because we're on YouTube.
if that was to happen, I would
I would be
gladly sign a condolence card. Let's put it that
yes,
way.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I thoughts and prayers.
That's right.
But the whole thing
I
is
would
not just
send that
that.
out.
It's not just that one person. He has a whole entire Republican Party, the ones that have been voted into office that support him. This is a huge problem. I mean,
Yes.
You know, he's talking about a 90 days. He's going to give this thing a 90-day rest. I would. Oh, I'm
And
just.
in 90 days, something else is going to come up that's going to make
Oh, in
him
90
push it
days,
off.
my God, a whole hell of a lot is going to come up. But I've got a
Exactly.
feeling that in 90 days that we could be getting closer and closer to seeing somebody different in the White House.
Yes.
Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please.
Yes.
I hate. I don't want to give false hopes and stuff, but it's what I'm feeling now. I have noticed I don't have enough time to watch as many psychics as I want to on YouTube, but I've noticed that a lot of them are being they're kind of building up to something like something very, very bad is going to happen. Well, something continually bad is happening.
Yes.
And I don't quite, I have said that things are going to get worse, and they did. And you really don't have to be a psychic to figure that out. But
Yes.
all these bad things that are happening, I think within 90 days, especially probably before that, you're going to see some changes that will once again give you hope, even though you got to live through the crap in the first place. Just like when the stock market fell
Yes.
to the bottom and a lot of people lost their money. It'll be stuff like that. But, right now to put this off for 90 days is great. On the other hand, China is that's where we get most of our stuff from, a lot of stuff from. So, and they're not backing down.
No.
And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll go to 85% or whatever it was. And, and it'll just keep going back and forth like that. And so, yes, everything's going to get more expensive no matter what. But how does Trump deal with that? He said, well, they didn't negotiate, or they went against what I want to do. I told them not to do that. They did it anyway. So I'm making it worse. Now it's 125% or
145.
Oh, now it's up to 145.
Oh, it's up to 145?
No, he increased it by 125. They were already at 20%. So now with the new increase, it's at 145%.
Yeah,
go ahead. Poke the bear. Get in there with your stick and hit the hornet's nest. When they all come out, and once you start getting tagged, don't you dare cry out and ask for help, because.
And let's not forget that our president not only did this thing with the tariffs, but all the other stuff. Firing all the federal workers, closing down all these essential departments, putting all the people that he replaced with people that were unable to do the job. I mean,
exactly.
RFK, please, what are you thinking? Fine. I think he did say something positive about vaccines for measles, and I'm like, well, yeah, because the day before that he said measles is caused by a poor diet. I mean, I'm just like, no. Why did you allow this person who is not a doctor, has no medical background, doesn't know what he's talking about? He's going by his own personal response, and he was a heroin addict for 17 years or something.
And had a worm eat part of his brain.
The worm in the brain.
I think it's still in there eating away, but
over the most critical department that covers the entire country. And now Texas is having a horrible time with measles. We have not seen that. I don't think we've seen something like this since maybe the 40s or 50s or something. I mean, we didn't, measles just wasn't a big deal. I mean, once in a while
Yeah.
somebody would crop up with the measles, but now, like, little kids are dying from the measles. I mean, it's just
Measles.
horrible.
Something that there is, you can prevent that.
Yeah, easily preventable. It's called a vaccine. And I think everybody I know, when we went to grade school, I think you got inoculated with that vaccine.
Yes.
What?
Before,
I agree, Linda. What
yeah,
brain?
yeah. When I registered, Chris, when I registered my son for school, I had to bring in his immunization record, and it had to be up to date.
Yeah,
it had
same
to be
thing when
up to date. And I know that there was a couple kids that were supposed to start with him, and one of them, there was a booster or something anyway that the mom forgot, and they said, no, you got to go get that done, get it signed off, and then come back.
Yeah.
And somebody just said here that RFK proclaimed today that he will have the cause of autism by fall. He's so freaking full of shit, it should be criminal. And that's, what he's going to say? He's going to say vaccines cause autism. And that has been an argument for a long time. People have wondered about that. They've looked, they've tested, they've researched, and they found there's no truth to it. So
there's no correlation between vaccines and autism.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I first heard about it, God, eons back, when the actor Jim Carrey was dating, and I don't remember her name, an actress who had a son from a previous marriage who was autistic. And I don't know if it was the doctor or somebody told her or what, and convinced her and Carrie that this child had autism because he got all of his vaccines when he was a baby. And Jim Carrey made a point of like hitting all of the talking heads in the daytime shows and everything else, talking this up. Now he has since recanted and said, I've since learned that there is no correlation. I apologize for giving out bad. At least he owned up to it, is what I'm saying. Many don't. But that's why you have to be so careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, who was it that said about the polio on polio on a sugar cube? Yes.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember that. Yeah.
Smallpox, first grade. I remember there was no paperwork that we took home to our parents to sign. There was no, you could, bow out if you didn't believe in it. No, we were all lined up in the hallways at school.
Yes.
And had to face a direction, and there was 2 nurses and a doctor there. First nurse walked by, she scrubbed your arm down with alcohol. The doctor came by, boom, shot you with the shot. The next nurse came by and she put that little plastic cap over the area. And you couldn't remove that plastic cap until the pox formed and fell off. And then you could remove the plastic cap. And I mean, there was no talking about my kid's not going to take that. No, hell no. People knew people who were dying from smallpox. They were like, hell yeah, give my kid the vaccine.
Or you don't want your kid vaccinated? Good, take him home with you. Let us know when
they weren't allowed in school if they weren't vaxxed.
But I recall when I was just a kid, nobody doubted it. Everybody was yes, because a bunch of, especially polio. Oh my God! Without that vaccine, so many people, particularly in the 50s and the 60s. I mean, I even went to school with a couple kids that ended up having polio.
Yeah, me too.
On their legs and stuff. And I mean, nobody said, "Oh no, we're not going to do that. It might cause autism." First of all, that would have been totally wrong. But also,
nobody knew what autism was back then.
Happy to get it because it's, it makes a difference. And yeah, it makes me
I
feel
have a good friend that when
Yes.
she was a baby, before she was old enough to get the measles vaccine, she got the measles that went into her eye and destroyed the optic nerve.
Ooh.
And she was basically blind. I mean, through her childhood, she could kind of see. But when you looked at her, just like you look at somebody's eyes, you see their eyes. Her eyes did this. Her eyeballs
Yeah.
literally danced, constant movement. And she would move her head sometimes trying to keep up with her eyes to
Yeah. Oh,
focus on what she was looking at. Now, she's in her 60s. She's a year older than I am. She's totally blind now. Like there's nothing left.
yes.
As a child, she could see things, but she didn't really see color or anything. As she got older, it was like gray on black that
Yes.
she could see. And then eventually it just completely went away. And I mean, she's had like seeing eye dogs for
Mhm.
decades, and which are remarkable animals. But it was all because she got measles that went into her eyes. And
Yeah.
and it destroyed the optic nerve. Now, had she been exposed to the measles a year later, she would have already been vaccinated.
Yes.
It never would have affected her. But that was back when they were first giving out those vaccines, and there were still a lot of people that thought, oh, well, you take your kids and get them exposed to somebody else who has the disease so that they create the immunities. And now we're back to that again after learning that actually that doesn't really work.
It doesn't work.
What works is when they're all vaccinated and they create the immunities for it.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
like when I got COVID 3 times and bitched to my doctor about it and said, well, what the hell good did it do that I got vaccine and vaxxed and boosted? He said, you're not in the hospital, are you? I
Exactly.
said,
Right.
no. He said, you don't have a tube down your throat breathing for you, do you? And I said, no. He said, that's what it did.
Yeah.
It gave you enough immunity that your body was able to fight it like it was more like a flu bug.
Yeah.
Than this really bad virus. So yeah, I mean, and back when we were kids, the thought of anybody saying some of the things that are said today against the medical scientists and the doctors who
Yeah.
study this stuff, they would have been ostracized from the community. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we don't talk like that. I mean, President Franklin Roosevelt had polio.
Yes.
He refused to let people see him in his wheelchair because he didn't want people to think he was weak. So
Yeah.
he would either have things filmed where he was behind his desk and already sitting, or before anyone was let into the room, he would be helped to the podium where he stood because he would have special braces on his legs under
Yeah.
his pants so he could stand for the thing. And he never moved until everybody left the room. And I mean, because people were very, very sensitive about that.
Mm.
And it was a deadly disease. I mean,
Yeah. I
there
mean,
were people that,
you know the things that are going to cause harm. Once you realize that something is harmful and there is something that you can do to prevent it, why in the name of all the saints in heaven would you not do that?
yeah, why not
No.
be first in line,
Yes. Yeah, we all have car insurance. Does that mean that we are all, anticipating an accident? No, we have it in case we get into an accident. You don't get your money back at the end of the year that, oh yeah, you're a safe driver. No, you don't need that. That's what you do. You take preventative measures, right? You don't leave an open flame close to a baby because they don't understand that, yeah, if you get into the fire, it's going to hurt, right? it just boggles my mind that yeah, there is an illness, there is a solution, but you
Mhm.
know what, I don't know if I buy that. I don't know if I'm going to take it.
You know,
Okay, well then, you know,
it's a different world. It's a different world because, like I said, growing up for me back in the 1800s,
yes, yeah, me too. Yeah,
that we just didn't question it, and we were happy to get it. I did want to mention to Innocent Potato. My God, what she has been through. She's got
Yeah, I
quite a
was just
story.
seeing that.
yeah,
I
And
remember the sugar cubes too. Yeah.
yes,
she's been through a lot, and it was like maybe the vaccine did cause some trouble. Well, in very rare occasions, well, just like the COVID vaccine,
yes,
in rare occasions, it could cause some trouble.
yes,
Boy, Innocent Potato, I am sorry with what you have gone through. My God,
Yeah. I thank God you're with us. I mean,
absolutely.
you've been through it, girl.
And can I
Jeez.
say that you meant to say, and you almost died, rather than, and I also died? Because if you're communicating from the other side,
you're doing a
I'm
great
going to tell
job.
You're
you,
doing a damn good job of it. Let me tell
yes,
you. I mean, I know in
yeah,
first grade I got strep throat,
yeah,
and I was out of school for 6 weeks. When I
yes,
finally went back to school, other kids thought I had died. They didn't know that I was home that sick, and I almost did die. It
yeah,
was serious. I vaguely can remember my mother or my grandmother or my grandfather would have to hold me up on the toilet so I could go to the bathroom because I couldn't sit up by myself,
yeah,
because it made me so weak. And it, my mother made damn sure we all had our inoculations as soon as we were old enough to get them.
exactly.
And just like
It
with
was
my
just
child,
something you did. It was just
yeah,
something you did. When the baby is 3 months old, they go in for this shot, this shot. When they're
6
9 months
months
old,
old,
they go
yeah,
it.
9 months, yeah.
Yeah, there was and yeah, when you went to see your family physician. Oh yeah, okay. So did he get his this shot or this shot or whatever? And if the answer was, well, no, he didn't. Why not? Why not? Go over
Yeah.
there right now. Go get it.
I
Yeah, I mean, I
that's
remember kids not being allowed in school because they didn't have all their shots.
Yes,
And they would be like, "No, they can't start until they go down
yes,
to the free clinic and they'll give you your shots." Because some parents tried to use a thing, well, we can't afford that.
yes,
We had medical clinics, free clinics that you went to,
exactly. Yeah.
because
you
that
got a
was
lot of
before
shots for
Medicaid,
people.
Medicare.
Yep.
I had a really bad case of the measles. I don't think I was in school yet. I might have been in kindergarten. But I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5. And I was like, my parents were always making me stay in a dark room, and they wouldn't let me watch TV, and I had to be so careful. And I've never been the same since. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
It did something
it was
to
it
her.
was a big ordeal. It took a long time to get over it, and I had no idea until they started talking about the measles lately how lucky I am to not have some strange thing that could have happened because I had the measles. I
Yeah.
didn't know even that kids would be dying from the measles. I mean, um, it was an era of the 50s, and a lot of kids got the measles, and it didn't seem to be that big a deal, except that they did. I think that's when they came up with more
Yes.
vaccines and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just to say that there is a few people that maybe got vaccines
Yes.
that had a little problem with it. Shouldn't it? A lot of people had it and didn't have any problem with it,
When
and
I
it
was
Yeah.
15, I stepped on I was outside barefoot and I stepped on a rusty roof tack.
tetanus shot.
My mom immediately hauled me to the ER, gave me a tetanus shot. within a couple of hours, I had huge welts all over my body. My throat was swelling shut. My fever spiked. She freaked out, went back to the ER, and we discovered that I was allergic to tetanus vaccines. I could not have a tetanus shot.
Yeah.
Who knew, And
Right.
I mean, so it's like I don't go barefoot anymore for fear
Yeah.
of stepping on something rusty because I can't have the vaccine
Yes.
to take care of it, You make adjustments in your life for stuff like that. But at the same time, you have people who have spent their entire lifetimes that have done nothing but study this stuff and research and
Yes.
and then to sit and call them liars or frauds or whatnot is truly atrocious in my book, because it's like
Yeah.
the hell that Dr. Fauci has gone through because
Oh.
he has committed his life to trying
Yeah.
to cure diseases from people because some dipwad wanted to tell you to inject bleach. And we know
Yes.
who that is,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, no, that,
Yeah.
you don't. Anyway, okay.
It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
So
So
let's move on to another topic.
Yeah. And somebody had asked, or commented, yeah, please tell me JD Vance bought stock. I think that he may have not bought stock himself, but his wife certainly did.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, his wife most certainly did.
Yep.
I think this will all come out about this stock thing and about Trump, because he openly said, now's the time to buy. It's so obvious, but he is so arrogant because he can get away with anything. I think that's coming to an end, but not quite soon enough. And I just, just a feeling of all these things that are building up. I think it's gonna hit with before the 90 days. I hate to say it because everybody be, oh, Cleo, you were wrong. You were wrong. But I do feel like between now and that 90-day thing, that a bunch of stuff is gonna happen that will be looking around like, oh, he didn't get away with it. Oh, it is changing things. So
a bunch of us have been feeling
what's going on.
A bunch of us have been feeling something happening between April and July, more or less.
I just said June, but I'll go for July.
Yeah,
June,
that's
whatever.
Fine. That's It's, you know what I did when I can't remember when I did this reading, but I pulled some cards and I wanted to know if Trump was going to be around 6 months from now. And the cards were fairly clear that between 6 and 8 months from now, he's not around.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, okay. I'm ready, willing, and able to do that. JD Vance, JD Vance right now
has no future.
No. He's very much like, he can, he thinks he can talk a big game, but he's doing it with, kind of Trump right behind him. So people are looking at Trump while he's the mouthpiece. Once he doesn't have that protection, they're not. The Republicans are not going to stand behind him. He's going to be gone so fast. He's going to think they did it with mirrors. He's done.
I just thought, let's draw a card and see what comes up.
Yeah.
I got the devil. So, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yes, Linda Bishop. He is a Teletubby.
And somebody says, when's the 3 days of darkness coming? And I think maybe Libby talked about that and maybe some others.
I've heard basically, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know
Yeah,
what the 3 days of
I
darkness
don't
are.
feel that.
So
I don't feel that there's going to be a 3 days of darkness. I don't really know what that means, but it's more like, we've already seen a lot of stuff that was like a 3 days of darkness. So, when
Mhm.
when Trump is saying we're going to have these tariffs and everybody's panicking and the stock market is bottoming out, that could be 3 days of darkness. It just depends. I don't know again.
yeah,
Like Henry, I don't know exactly what that means.
what your version of darkness is that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
talking about.
I mean, it could be a
I
number
mean,
of things.
there's the biblical 3 days of darkness that's in Revelation that talks about the sun is darkened and the moon falls down, or I don't remember now what the
And the
scripture is.
moon
It's been
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Leaves and
been
stuff.
far too many years since I've read it,
Yeah.
and don't really plan on reading it again anytime soon. Um,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
that's
it could
just
be it
me.
could be an eclipse that you're talking about, but that's what
Exactly.
we'll figure
You
out
know,
after 3 days. We're gonna see bad stuff, and
Yeah.
until it's corrected by bye bye to a new corrected
Yes.
and moved to a new administration. Uh, you know, I'm not
Yeah.
going to get
And it
too worked up about 3 days of darkness. That's basically
yeah,
it.
me
and
either.
it could be maybe they're talking about the internet outages for 3 days worldwide, according
That
to
could
Debbie.
happen. Yeah.
It that could very well be it.
And they can attack our
Well,
infrastructure and all of a
there's
sudden.
scripture that talks about, in the end, it'll be like a great spider web takes over the world. Well, what's the internet? It's
Yeah,
like a
really.
giant spider web, it covers
And
everything.
Barbara said it could be solar flares. It could be anything. It
Uh-huh.
could be a volcano that erupts, and all of a sudden there's ash,
The,
and
the
you
sun
know,
is blocked for 3
and the
days.
sun is blocked. So yeah, absolutely. But oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah,
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I'm waiting for that too.
Okay, we've been at this an hour and 7 minutes, so we went a little
Mhm.
over, and I think this is the perfect comment to leave on.
Yes.
Is ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yes.
Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch.
Yes.
Ding
Exactly.
dong, the wicked witch is dead. So that's all I remember of that song.
Yeah.
Anyway, go and watch, what's the damn movie?
Wizard of
What's the
Oz?
movie? Wizard of Oz. Thank you. I went totally blank. I was gonna say, go watch the Wizard of Oz this weekend.
Yeah.
And I just went, the name of the movie just went right out the
I
door.
know.
So I was like, okay.
I know. Yes.
Well, thank you. Y'all all brought up some really good topics tonight. There were some we weren't able to get to, like the helicopter crash in New York. 6 people died. Helicopter crashed into the Hudson, I think.
Yes.
And they were from another country.
They were from
visiting Spain.
Yeah.
Okay, I
And
knew
it sounds like a family, mom, dad,
There's
and 3 kids.
in kids. Yeah. So don't know what happened there, but I'm sure we will get the information once they're able to pull the wreckage out and see what happened with the helicopter and everything. And
Yeah.
hopefully they'll be able to do that this year and not 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Because that's another program that he's trying to get rid of. So
Yes, Dr. Sear, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
it is very sad. And thank y'all for sharing a lot of your personal information. I do appreciate it when y'all do that. I really do. Sometimes I may make a joke out of it just to lighten the mood, but never in to make fun of you, because I
Yes.
really appreciate when you
Absolutely.
share your information with us. Because
Maureen.
what happened to us and we share it may prevent someone else from going through it. And so that's kind of why we're here.
Yeah.
Is to protect each other and hold each other up. So
Yes.
and yes, Jane, laughter is the best medicine.
When is the Golden Girls going to be here again?
The Golden Girls are on the 24th.
24th.
And guess who's hosting that one, Cleo?
Me?
Yes.
You.
It's like you're psychic. Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at this one when it was Sherry, and I was like, let's see, we had Marina, and then I was before that, and I knew it was coming up soon.
There you go.
24th, I will be hosting.
So on the April 24th, we will all be on Cleo's channel, Cleo the Seer, and bring back our snarky political comments. And look forward to y'all joining us. And again, if you have any questions you want us to read on, I know these lovely ladies do readings. I do a daily or at least an every other day a political reading. If you got a question, send it to me and I'll read on it. You know, so and do a video and stick it out there so everybody can get the answer. And in the meantime,
thank you.
Rose, Spiritual Garden Rose is in El Salvador in one of the prisons. We haven't been able to bust her out yet. We think. We're not sure.
We're doing our best.
Yeah, we're working at it. We're working at it. I mean, you know.
Yeah. There.
And thank y'all, everybody, for coming and being with us tonight. We look forward to seeing you over the weekend and the rest of the week when we do our other stuff. Make sure you go to Marina and Cleo's channels and like, subscribe. It's free, and share. And if you don't mind, come back after the show and leave a comment. That boosts algorithm, helps push the channels out. Because as Marina likes to say, people are looking for us. They just don't know where to find us. And so we have to take advantage of all the little quirks of the algorithm to push us out there. So,
and we will be on 2 weeks from tonight on Cleo's channel, and that is at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that will be
8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m.
Central,
6 o'clock Pacific.
6 o'clock Pacific. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
She will specifically be showing Pacific time.
Yes.
Thank you, chatters.
All right.
Much love to all. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Have a great evening.